You're listening to WUSM Hattiesburg. It's time for Southern Miss Today. Southern Miss Today is WUSM's news and public affairs program. Southern Miss Today airs Monday through Thursday at noon. Southern Miss Today is sponsored by Mr. Sippy Beverages. And now to start the show, Southern Miss Student Media News.
You are listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. I'm Madison Warren, and I'm here to give you all the news surrounding Hattiesburg and the world. So let's dive in. Congratulations to the final candidates for homecoming. The second round of voting will take place tomorrow, and SGA will announce the 2023 homecoming court tomorrow night. My friend and sorority president, Kayla Barnacle, is still in the running for homecoming queen, and I wish her the best of luck. Today, there will be a flash fashion show in the Thad Cochran Center, the Union, and Shoemaker Square. The fashion show will be happening to spread awareness to the upcoming events and Seymour's Closet while showing off professional attire. It is National Hazing Prevention Week, and there are many things USM is doing to bring awareness to hazing. Hazing is any action taken or situation created, whether on or off campus, to produce mental or physical discomfort, embarrassment, harassment, or ridicule. There are many schools that do not take hazing seriously, but USM is not one of them. If you are involved in an organization where hazing could become a problem, educate yourself on ways to prevent it and know what to do if you see it. If you're still trying to get connected spiritually on campus, there are several religious organizations on campus that would love to have you. One of those is the Baptist Student Union, and the BSU meets every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. There's also a free lunch at the BSU every Thursday at noon. USM presents the opening night of the 103rd season of its renowned symphony orchestra, Thursday, September 29th in Bennett Auditorium on the Hattiesburg campus. The concert features two all-time classics from Ludwig van Beethoven. Why can I not say his name? It's okay. Individual and season tickets may be purchased online at southernmisstickets.com. A Hattiesburg woman is facing charges after crashing into the Crispy Crunchy Chicken on Hardy Street around 7 p.m. last night. On the scene, officers learned that the driver, identified as Brianna Sidhu, 24 of Hattiesburg, intentionally drove her vehicle into the business, which is where she and her husband are reportedly employed. No injuries were reported on the scene. Merit Health Wesley held a ribbon-cutting ceremony for its new critical care and step-down units yesterday. The $3.4 million extension includes adding 8 critical care beds and 12 beds for the step-down unit. CEO of the hospital said the increase in critical care beds would allow the hospital to meet the needs of more patients who need a higher level of care. The other day, I mentioned that the House of Hope for Children director had been charged with 1 count of procuring prostitution and 2 counts of drug possession. Since his arrest, 7 more men have been arrested. All in all, 8 suspects have been arrested in Colombia in an undercover sting operation targeting those who provided money to sex traffickers in the form of prostitution. The city of Hattiesburg is getting ready to kick off its 32nd year of celebrating National Night Out by joining Live at 5 Friday. The kickoff at Live at 5 will take place at Town Square Park in downtown Hattiesburg this Friday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. National Night Out in Hattiesburg is an annual celebration of the community and its partnership with law enforcement and first responders. The event will include live music by T-Bone Pruitt, food vendors, touch-a-truck opportunities for children, and interaction with first responders from the Hattiesburg Police and Fire Departments, Forest County Sheriff's Office, and elected officials from both the city and county. Mark your calendars because the World Ballet Series is performing The Nutcracker at Hattiesburg's historic Singer Theater. I don't know how to say that either. On Thursday, December 6th, doors to the Singer will open at 6 p.m. and the show is expected to begin at 7 p.m. September 24th is The Grub in the Garden with Felder Rushing, and it will take place from 9 a.m. until noon at the Petal City Community Garden site located behind Russell Sports Community Garden site. Yes. Guest speaker is Felder Rushing, and the Dragon the Wagon food truck will be there serving delicious food, and there will be a plant and seed swap. Attendees are requested to make a $5 donation to the garden. Bring your lawn chairs, plants for the swap, and questions for the speaker. The Healing Garden is a 501c3 nonprofit community garden founded in November of 2021, and provides fresh produce to food insecure families and reduces waste in the Petal community. A woman has been sentenced to nearly 4 years in federal prison and ordered to pay nearly $3 million in restitution for embezzling money from a Mississippi State University restitution to the Kappa Delta chapter at MSU. Cadle was the treasurer for the corporation that oversaw the Starkville sorority. Prosecutors said she would order things for the sorority and then reimburse herself. U.S. Attorney Parker King said Cadle never tried to pay the money back in a fraud that lasted 8 years. She stole an average of $375,000 a year, even as the sorority chapter was struggling financially. The Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal reports that Betty Jane Cadle, 75, of Oxford, pleaded guilty to a single count of wire fraud in April. U.S. District Judge Glenn Davis sentenced her to 45 months in prison Friday and ordered her to pay $2.9 million. Well, we'll be right back with sports and weather after these messages.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To start, Mississippi will give you 1 month cooler rental and 2 bottles of water for free. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Join Southern Miss Radio on Sunday mornings from 6 a.m. till noon for Sunday Brunch. You'll get jazz and swing music from artists as wide-ranging as Bix Beiderbecke to Brad Meldau. From Dippermouth himself to Esperanza Spalding. But relax, you don't need to know anything about the music to enjoy it. It's a great way to wake up on Sunday morning. Sunday Brunch from 6 a.m. until noon on Southern Miss Radio.
Back to the top, Golden Eagle graduate student Esmeralda, I do not know how to say her name and that's terrible, Esmeralda Figueroa, thank you, of Laurel, was named the Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Week in soccer after playing a hand in 2 black and gold goals this past weekend at conference opener, the league announced September 20th. The forward from Laurel, Mississippi, had 1 goal and 1 assist at Sunday's match against conference opponent Marshall. She provided an assist for Bernadette Steffen at 77:09. Or 77-9, with 6 minutes left in the match. She headed it home with the help of midfielder, I don't know how to say her name either, Lana Escuerdo, to maintain the Black and Gold's lead. This is the first win at Huntington, West Virginia in program history. Southern Miss football will be playing Tulane at Tulane this Saturday at 6 p.m. The Battle for the Bell is a rivalry game between Tulane and Southern Miss. USM leads the series 23-9, with Tulane winning the last 2. It's time to bring the bell home. And weather, another beautiful day is in store in Hattiesburg. Similar to yesterday, we will once again enjoy nothing but sunshine and blue sky. It is slightly more humid and will be around 2 degrees hotter than yesterday, so it'll feel noticeably hotter than the last few days have been. The warming trend continues tomorrow, raising the air temperature to 97, but drier air will begin filtering in, which will keep the heat index from getting ridiculous. Thankfully, that's where the warming ends. A weak front will move through between Thursday night and Friday morning, bringing the air temperature from the upper 90s back into the low 90s. That's where we'll spend the weekend, but after another front on Sunday, things cool down considerably. That'll bring our highest rain chances of the week, too, up to 20% Sunday afternoon. By the middle of next week, we'll be seeing highs fall into the lower 80s, feeling appropriately much more fall-like. There's still some concern in regards to the tropics. It is more likely that we'll see a developing tropical system moving into the Gulf by the end of the week. It does have a chance of impacting the Pine Belt, but having said that, it has the same or higher chance to impact anywhere from Mexico to Florida based on several factors. However, current trends have a stronger storm going eastward into Florida and a weaker headed further west. I'm here with our host, Jackson. Jackson, how has your week been so far?
Well, so far, so good. I just really feel bad for the owners of Crispy Crunchy Chicken, to be honest with you. Obviously,
Me too.
I don't know if they had a drive-through before, but they certainly do now. So that was definitely interesting to see.
Yes,
So-
I'd like to hear the story behind that. I really would.
Yeah, everything's reported as of now, or allegedly true, as I should say. There's a better term for that, but it is escaping me at the moment. But right now, we will go to Mississippi Moments, where Jack Kelly will recall a hurricane in 1915 on the Gulf Coast. Let's have a listen.
This is Mississippi Moments on MPB, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. Jim Kelly was 10 years old when the 1915 hurricane destroyed the school and most of the homes in English Lookout. He explains why he wasn't able to return to school until 2 years later.
Well, they had a school at Lookout before the 1915 storm. Of course, the 1915 storm took nearly everything. Took my father's home, and it took most everybody's home. Some of them built back after, but most of them left. The factory left, and they left. See, in 15, I was 10 years old, and my dad moved us to New Orleans for about 6 months till he could rebuild. And I went to school over there for one time. Then I came back to Lookout, and I didn't go to school for a couple of years because he had to pay for their tickets on the railroad to send them to New Orleans, you know. And he sent 3, the oldest girls. He kept after the school board to give them the school tickets, and they finally did. And when they did, well, then I started school.
To hear more, visit MississippiMoments.org or just like us on Facebook. Mississippi Moments is supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. The humanities are for everyone.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today. We thank PBS for allowing us to play Mississippi Moments each and every single day, and that was a great story about the hurricane. But when we come back, we will interview Dr. Nina McClain, very special guest. She is the program director at USM Nurse Anesthesia Program. So stick around. We'll be back right after this break.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To start, Mississippi will give you 1 month cooler rental and 2 bottles of water for free. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Yo, it's Smooth Oz.
And Charlie from the 4th Street Sports Show.
And we are psyched for our second year covering Southern Miss Athletics, and we have some new faces joining too.
Join us every Monday at 5 p.m. to hear from myself and Smooth Oz, as well as Dima, Jackson, and Nathan.
88.5 is the place to be on Mondays at 5.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today, as you just heard on the radio, 4th Street Sports Show, Mondays at 5 p.m. So if you are not tired of hearing my voice, you can hear it more Mondays at 5 p.m., where I am a co-host right here on 88.5 WUSM. But enough about me. Let's get to our special guest. We have Dr. Nina McClain. She is the program director here at the University of Southern Mississippi Nurse Anesthesia Program. She is also the co-owner and manager of the Oral Suction Device LLC. Nina, Dr. Nina.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm great. Once I found the building, I'm still trying to learn all these buildings' names.
Should I call you Dr. Nina? Dr.
No, you
McClain?
can just call me Nina. It's
Oh,
fine.
okay, that sounds good. So, Nina, you received your master's from Xavier University of Louisiana, correct?
I did.
And then your doctorate from VCU, Virginia Commonwealth, correct?
I did.
But I read you received your bachelor's degree from Southern Miss. Is that
Go
right?
Southern Miss to the top.
So one thing I like to ask each and every one of our guests is, what is your favorite Southern Miss memory of being here?
Okay, so this is where it gets a little bit weird and you find out I'm not typical. I got my degree from USM, and all of my hours were through USM at the Mississippi State branch in Meridian. I'm that old. So Southern Miss had some kind of collaborative agreement where their professors would come up from the nursing program and teach at the facility at Mississippi Meridian, Mississippi State Meridian. So until I had graduated or was graduating, I had not been on Southern Miss's campus, but my mom went to Southern Miss. So I grew up loving Southern Miss. My favorite memory was during graduation, my mom took me around to show me all the places that she remembered and how they had changed. And the biggest thing she kept coming back to was the Rose Garden out front, and telling me about how the trees used to be there and then the hurricane. So I'm a little non-traditional USM, but I'm here now, and I still have always supported USM, so to the top.
So you were born and raised in Philadelphia, correct?
I was not raised. Were you there, raised there? I was born in Philadelphia. My daddy was Air Force, so I'm an Air Force brat.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
Gotcha.
Moved back when I was 15 and have never left the state.
So you still live there? So
I do.
So what's that commute like, driving back and forth?
I get a lot done in my mind. As soon as cars can drive, I'll get a lot more done. But I get up real early and I hit the road by 6 because traffic's not bad. And I think through my day, a lot of times I'll listen to a book that's related to something I need to think about. Sometimes I just chill out and listen to music. But it's really good because it gears me up for my work. When I get here, I'm ready to go. And on the days that I do spend the night here, I have a faculty member that owns a house and I rent a room from her. And we're roommates, and I will spend the night here Monday nights and Tuesday nights. So then on my drive home, I'm kind of decompressing. And so by the time I get home, I'm ready to be engaged there, and then I work from home 1 day a week, and then I do clinical 1 day a week.
So let's go back to your background a little bit. 3 degrees, no big deal. So
We forgot my associate's degree.
Four of
Just
them.
saying.
There
I'm
you
kidding.
go.
I'm kidding.
And you got that from where?
Meridian Community College. Now it's called, Meridian Junior College. It's now called Community College.
Right. So a hat trick is 3. I don't know what 4 is, so you beat a hat trick.
I don't know,
so
but I'm still looking for something else.
congratulations.
For my next life.
But one thing I wanted to ask you was, what were some of your career ventures after graduation, kind of in between your stints at college?
Oh, so nursing, straight out of nursing, I've done a couple of different things. I did an internal medicine floor. I've worked intensive care. I've primarily a lot of emergency room nursing, and I did a short, very, very short stint in home health. And I ended up spending my entire check on all my patients and being very depressed. That's for special people, and I'm not that special person. So then I got out of that, and I went to the operating room. And once I got to the operating room, I knew I was home. And so I was there, and from there I went into anesthesia. So from anesthesia, I've worked in several different places around the state, small surgery centers, large surgery centers, and hospitals and county hospitals.
So you're the program director of the anesthesia program here at Southern Miss. So how did you get involved with that?
Well, I never had any dream of being that. It just sort of happened. I was at Samford in 2005. I went back to get my PhD, and Samford asked me to come teach part-time over there for them because anesthesia faculty are very short-handed at that time. And so I started it and ended up I really liked teaching. I thought, hey, this is kind of fun. I really like this. And got into that and stayed there and thought I would be there until I retired. And in 2016, I had a friend, sometimes, I thought she was crazy when she told me I needed to come down here and talk to USM because they were going to have a position opening. I'm like, I'm not changing. I love my job. I came down here and there's just something about this place. It's just, nobody can really ever identify that when you talk to people, but there's something about here. And that's how I ended up here, and it was just sort of got in that position and moved up kind of thing.
Yeah, it just feels different. It's both big and small.
It's weird. I know. I love us.
It's just kind of a perfect balance. So obviously being involved with the nursing program, could you talk about some of the more exciting aspects and what are some of the most interesting things that program does as a whole?
I can speak specifically for nurse anesthesia. We do a lot of simulation. We do a lot of active learning. When we first got here, and I say we because she also came with me, my friend did, in a different capacity, and we work side by side and do a lot of active learning for our students, because when we first got here it was a lot of 3-hour lectures. Y'all, that's hard to do as a faculty, and the students are bored to tears. So we've really tried to make a difference in how we teach, and the graduate students, they pay us big money to be there. So we try to make it to where it's a good environment for them. So that's exciting, us growing as faculty to teach at the students. But I think for the students, probably the most fun part of what we do, or their career with us, is the simulation piece, because we put you in a critical care environment where you can fail and you can kill the patient and it's okay. And it's fun too because they get to kind of pick at each other. We pick at them. It's very low stakes. You're not graded. But you are yet learning at the same time you're doing fun things like learning to intubate the patient or having the patient code, and you've got to learn how to run the code. But it's a low stress environment so that later in life, when that situation really happens, you've been there before. You've made those decisions, and that kind of feeds back into your memory. So we imprint your memory by actively doing things, and that's the most fun part, if I had to say.
So y'all do a lot of hands-on work. Do
We
y'all
do.
have a lot of partners? Is this all in the nursing building, or do y'all go off to different sites?
Okay, so both, yes, and to both of those. So on campus in Asbury Hall on the second floor, and if you've never been, you should come take a tour. In our simulation lab, we have a whole floor that's basically a hospital. It starts at our end, just to speak to our end, is an operating room that's full service. Like literally, if we had a national disaster, we could tank in some nitrous and bring in some gases, and we could go ahead and do anesthesia in that full room, this real room. And we have a static room where they do models and practice spinals and things like that. And then in the other end, it's a full pre-op anesthesia area, post-op anesthesia area, maternity area, delivery area, PICU, pediatric ICU area, home health, everything. So we've got these great resources. And we train them there, and then we move them out into our 22, we have 22 clinical partners, Force General, obviously, and it used to be Methodist, but my brain is out.
Is it Merritt?
Merritt Wesley. Yeah, it's changed names. That's why I was stuck. And then all those on the coast, Indian River, UMC in Jackson, Grenada, Greenwood, all these clinical sites, Meridian, Anderson's, St. Dominic's. We're all over the state. We have 22 clinical sites. So we take them, start them here, work them through this process, and then throw them out into the world for their last 2 years, doing anesthesia, coming back 1 day a week for classes.
So let's talk about anesthesia a little bit. The kind of basic definition, I guess, is it puts you to sleep, right? But it's
Yeah.
more complex than that, right?
Oh, yeah. If you want to think of it in my simplistic way, I just tell people, basically, we learn how to take you down to the level just above death and hold you there so you know nothing is going on. And then we're paid a lot of money to bring you back, and without pain. And that's kind of our goal. We're there to comfort you, take care of you, but we're monitoring your entire body's vital signs and making sure your heart's doing right, your lungs doing right, your brain's doing right, and that you're not feeling this pain. And you're held in that kind of coma-type state under general anesthesia until it's time for the surgery to be over, and then we gently wake you back up and then take care of your post-op pain afterwards. So you really want to be aware of who's putting you to sleep. I mean, honestly, we have great people in this state, but that's the complex part of it, is learning the science part of it, and the art part of it is the techniques.
Does the re-waking up prove to be difficult?
It depends on how good you are. I'm just kidding. It's just part of what you learn. I would say every part of anesthesia is considered difficult, and everybody kind of has their things that they're better at than others. But by the time our people graduate, they're good at it all. Like, we have the best graduates. Our students are fabulous. We're real picky about who we take, and we only take people we know can succeed.
A little birdie told me that you recently received an award. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, sir. So there's the AANA, the American Association of Nurse Anesthetists, is our governing body, if you want to say in one way. They represent all the anesthetists in the country, and they have a fellowship program for people who have met certain standards or criteria and things like that. And I was honored enough to be one of two in the state of Mississippi this time to get the award. So yes, that was true. But I don't like to talk about me, so let's move on.
Well, congratulations. You deserve all the respect and admiration that is due for you.
Well, I appreciate that, but that was just a very, very nice honor.
So not only are you the program director here at the USM Nurse Anesthesia Program, but you are also the co-owner and manager of Oral Suction Device LLC. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that was crazy. It's a company that nurses by nature are innovators. We fix things, and we don't really see ourselves as innovators. And I'm the perfect example. I was in a case one day. I had a large lady who was in a head-down position who was constantly just drooling. Because when you're under anesthesia, a lot of things are blunted, but some responses aren't, depending on what procedure and what level you've got them at. And I kept having to suction her because I didn't want that to run out her mouth and into her eyes or, just grossness. So I kept saying, why on earth won't somebody just develop a sponge with a tube we can put in their mouth, let it absorb the liquid and suck it out into the suction bucket so I can quit putting this catheter in and out of her mouth. I know I'm causing micro trauma. This is so stupid. Why didn't somebody just invent that? And then just like a little bird thumped me on the head and it was like, why don't you do that? And I was like, okay, I'll see. So it just started back, it was like 2013, and then by 2015 we had a prototype. One of my surgeons I was working with helped me design it and kind of moved it from there. And then when I came to USM, I found out that they have a very strong technology development department. Well, I didn't know what that was. But that basically means if you've got an idea, you can call Dr. Brian Cuevas over in the technology development department, and he will help you develop your product and get it to market and put the resources in place for you to do it, whether you're a student or faculty, if you're a USM affiliate. And even if you're out in the public, they have a pathway for that too. Like just someone that lives in Hattiesburg that needs some help getting something done with a product or an idea that has a really good, strong, track record of I'm really willing to stick to it. So I partnered with USM Research Foundation through the technology department, and Dr. Gordon Cannon was director of research at that time. He's now our provost, by the way, and he made the connections for me to hook up with them, and they liked what they heard and saw, so they decided, well, let's invest in our own people. And so we formed a company together. They have part ownership. I have part ownership with my partner, Dr. Cole from Jackson. And we're moving it right along. We've gotten grants, we've gotten prototypes, we're moving it up, and hopefully one day it'll be on the market. So I'll quit suctioning people who are drooling.
That's good to hear. I know there's a lot of people with big and good ideas on campus. So that's a good thing for them to get into, is kind of making it known for their ideas. But last question for me here real quickly. I noticed you're wearing a button. Do you want to give a quick shout out?
I most certainly am. And I feel free to do it since you talked about your friend running in homecoming court. Yeah. Mine is Lily Collins, extraordinary sophomore. I don't even know the other people that are running, but Lily has been a volunteer for the nurse anesthesia program, which is why I'm wearing her button, since she was in like the 9th or 10th grade. And she has come and done stuff for us in simulation, even stripping down to shorts and a tank top to allow us to draw on her with markers where the nerves and veins and arteries are. And basically would do anything we told her. And then when she got old enough, she became a formal assistant, and she would file for us and do our computer work and stuff like that we needed her to. So I have to give a big shout out to my fake daughter, Lily Collins, who is running for sophomore May. She's a KD, and she's a sweet, sweet girl and a good person. And even if she doesn't win, she'll still love everybody.
I love her. She's so sweet.
Oh, you know her?
Yes.
That's good to hear, and we hope to hear from all those candidates as the races are heating up. Well, simple definition of anesthesia is that it puts us to sleep, but this interview did nothing but. Thank you. We thank the award-winning Dr. Nina McClain. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, and right after this, we'll be back with the SM2 wrap, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To start, Mississippi will give you 1 month cooler rental and 2 bottles of water for free. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Hey Southern Miss Radio, this is Charlie Luttrell from the 4th Street Sports Show, a student sports radio show and podcast covering everything going on in Southern Miss athletics. Our group is back this year to keep the coverage going and bring you a fresh perspective on your favorite teams. If you want to catch up on all the sports events and hear from the players and coaches themselves, then make sure to tune in to Southern Miss Radio 88.5 every Monday at 5 p.m.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today. Right now, we will have our daily SM2 wrap made by a brilliant worker in the Southern Miss Student Media Center, so let's have a listen.
Kayla Myers is a regular college student. The junior special education major stays occupied with classes and college life. She also stays busy informing others about seizures. She does it through her website, which initially began as a class assignment.
And I chose seizures because you never know who may have a seizure or a seizure condition.
She discusses in detail her journey of dealing with seizures. She also provides a plethora of information about the condition. It includes do's and don'ts of first aid measures, types of seizures one can have, and more. For those who learn about these things from Myers' website, it may come in handy. However, lack of awareness is still a problem.
Last semester, I had a seizure on campus, and didn't nobody know what to do. And I was seizing at least 5 minutes.
No one knew what to do when Myers' seizure happened. However, this website has made it into the curriculum of some professors' classes at USM. This seeks to ensure that what happened last semester to Myers doesn't happen again. Garrett Grove, SM2 News.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today. Thank you to Garrett Grove for that package. He's the man. He's the head of Southern Miss TV. They're doing a lot of great things there, but unfortunately, that's all we have time for here at Southern Miss Today. We thank our very special guest, Dr. Nina McClain, on behalf of Madison, Devontae, Kelsey, Miss Whitney Howard. Thank you all. I'm Jackson Howell. Stay golden, Eagles.
Southern Miss Today is your public affairs program, so use it. Be a guest on Southern Miss Today to spread the word about your civic events in the